Next segment I want to talk about was the next 5 years, the Australian dream. I think that this year has been diabolical, and it will be effectively a restart in a lot of different ways for this country.
This is really Christian's Australian dream.
This is Christian's Australian dream. Now, to be perfectly honest, there'd probably be a 50-point plan here, but I did summarise it down to 5.
Well done.
Yes. So I'd like you to comment on any of these 5 things.
I won't hold back.
The Australian dream in the next 5 years. I'll give us 5 years of transition. I think there's some real possibilities here. The first is I would love the Australian economy to be one that is not built on entirely immigration and the Ponzi scheme that is, you know, putting 100,000 extra people in a city every year and just sort of via consumption and just the smashing of resources.
Yes.
I'd love to see, like, minerals and metals are always going to be part of our future, but manufacturing looks like Morrison's turning his eye to it. Whether it's real or not, it's hard to tell. Agriculture, education is still, and I think immigration is part of education, but education is like top 5 export, you know, these sort of things.
So immigration has sort of been an easy win, right?
Treasury would triple it if they could.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps the pump going.
Yeah.
And we're going to see as the tide goes out in the next 18 months that immigration withdrawal, it's either going to crack us or we're going to go, hang on a minute, we can deal with it. Now, immigration is extremely important to Australia. I'm not saying to stop it. I'm saying that it not be the primary source of growth. We've had multiple per capita recessions.
We shouldn't have any primary source, really.
No.
If this has shown us anything, we need to have lots of things going at once.
Yes.
Because when the rug gets pulled out.
That's right. We need to have multiple diversification in our economy. So I think that there's an opportunity there.
Number
2, I'm actually pretty confident about this one actually happening. A mature approach to working around your personal and family commitments. I have some optimism in the next 5 years that we could become this sort of, and I don't think it'll go as flexibly as people think, but just that, like the cities and the decentralisation, which I'll get to decentralised, but the way that it's going to work is all going to be a little bit more fluid, mature, adult, and we're going to back up people.
The last 6 months has really fast-tracked us.
Accelerated.
Well, because we've had to do it.
Yep.
And guess what? The world didn't end yet.
Sort of.
Right?
So that's number 2. Number 3. No, I don't hold any hope for this. A mature political discourse built around governance, accountability, and vision.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't.
You shouldn't laugh because we right now are 0 for 3 on that.
That is quite the dream, Christian Cunningham.
And ever since, like, probably it always has been thus, but especially ever since social media algorithms and the way that they channel people into rage bubbles, that is a big ask. And it may be impossible, and we may have to crash the whole thing before that sort of comes out of the flames. But I dream of governance, accountability, and vision. And vision is the 3rd place in that. Governance and accountability would be a good start. It's a bloody mess, but I have hope. Although I look at the US now, I look at the UK, and it's probably where we're 5 years behind, and that's not great. I actually am very thankful for our civil politics this week. The next is the decentralisation of our major cities. Now, this is already happening. Like, there's a massive, now, you know, we met Aaron Wood last week. He may not, who's running for the Mayor of Melbourne, he may not be too enthused to be saying this, but I think there's a massive opportunity to have these metropolis type cities that are not, but also to be able to have, you know, living in Ballarat or Bendigo or in Victoria, Geelong, these are realistic prospects to be based in the city and be flexible and the same, probably a bit harder in Sydney. Sydney's a bit more fractured, but decentralisation is a massive opportunity.
Less transport.
Oh, mate, there's 100 reasons.
You know,
suburban hubs, like you can have real economies that are decentralised in the suburbs that have full suite of resources and services. I'm excited about that.
Who are you?
I think it's going to happen.
Very
I think
optimistic
it is happening
today, Christian.
But human nature says we move slowly.
But we're getting pushed in that direction.
We're getting forced in that direction. And again, like you said, with COVID, it's told us that the roof's not going to cave in if we make these changes.
What's next? We're running out of time.
This is the final one, and this is different sides of this argument could take either out of this. I would love to see over the next 5 years a reminder that on balance, we live in the best country in the world. And
do we ever?
As much as problems come up, and we've got a lot to fix, and a lot of the things that we chase are not real, and a lot of the things we argue about are not real. And if we actually all sat in a room together and put down a list of all the things that were good and started to sort of cheer them on as much as we just stick a hatchet into the things that divide us, I think that we could have a very, very,
So
very
right.
prosperous next 5 years.
I think it depends on your background too, how you think about the country. I mean, I come from a migrant background, and I just never forget how lucky we are, because I'm constantly told, and I've always been told. You know, my grandmother got on a boat with 4 kids by herself to meet my grandfather who'd been here for a year, and you know, they just kiss the ground we all walk on and take
Correct.
for granted
Be
every
very-
day.
Very careful to think through what the view of someone else's eyes somewhere else in the world would be.
Yes.
And your grandmother is absolutely right, and I just wouldn't mess with her either. That's my dream. What do you think
I love it.
in 20 seconds or less?
I love it. I think we've got a lot of work to do.
I think we do. And no, it's possible. I think some of these things are possible. Well, this time has absolutely flown today. I think we're almost out of time. Do you have anything to add, Laura Raki?
No, just that it's Friday and the sun's out, and let's try and expect that we're going to have some good times on the other side of this.
Well, until the good times on the other side of this, we're just 2 kids from the burbs having a go, and we will see you all